In case you ain't read it, welcome everybody back to the JV Sports Room. As usual, your host, JDino. The other half of the team behind the scenes rocking his brand new shirt too. My man Vince.
Yeah.
Over in the Kobe corner. My man been gone for a minute, but he back with his shirt on.
Already know. Sorry for making y'all wait so long, but your boy's back.
Kobe corner certified.
Money.
And as usual, big body boy himself in the starting center spot. Welcome back, my man Big J.
We out here, baby. It's body time. Body boys. It's a mentality. All right? In the gym, out the gym, whatever you do, do it big.
Obviously, you guys see all the brand new merch. Make sure you check us out, sportjv.com. Check out the show merch. Not too much to talk about in basketball right now because second round still in the midst, right?
Still very fluid.
But we definitely got to make sure we make mention of this JOKIC MVP conversation.
Hey,
Back-to-back years, Nikola Jokic, MVP.
Shout out to Hobby, man. He been calling it. Yo.
Right.
Shout out, dog.
Shout out to Hobby.
It's a travesty. This is robbery at the highest levels.
Back-to-back years at that.
It's Nikola Jokic is a great player in the league. This right here immediately puts him up into another realm. At the end of his career, we're all going to go back and say back-to-back MVPs. I mean, got to put him in the conversations with the greats, but man, Joel Embiid was my MVP. I mean, come on, guys.
No argument here, man.
Come on, man.
I can't be mad at your side at all. You know, I didn't see it coming. That's why I got to give my respect to Hobby. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he been saying, you know, take him off and what do you have in Denver, right?
If that's the case, then Trae Young's the MVP because you take him off Atlanta and Atlanta's picking first in the draft. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, I think yes, I know it's a little bit biased because we got him in the playoffs right now and he's in the second round. He willed this team into the second round of the playoffs. And
Which, by the way, somebody never gave up faith on him. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fact.
Hey, look, I said they was going to win back-to-back games in Philly, and they did it, right? This is a series now, gentlemen.
For sure.
But, yeah, man, he was the X factor, right, coming back.
Absolutely.
So,
I will say this. My MVP is playing with a broken face, a torn ligament in his thumb, and concussions, and he's beaten the number one seed in the East 2 games in a row at home. That's my MVP.
and the MVP they chose is watching our MVP play. So
That's a fact. That's a fact.
it is what it is, man. But that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother time. Probably later on this week because JV Sports Room will be going live. Date and time still to be determined. But we're going live later on this week. Check us out. Stay tuned. But for now, we're going to definitely throw it back into the NFL. We ran through 3 real strong divisions right before the draft. Took a little break to give you guys some draft insight last week. But we back with another division. We're going to rock out the NFC West this week. My man Jay Money over in the corner, the only representative here for that division.
Yes, sir. You already know I'm 9 to the heart, man.
9 to the heart. Usually we start at the top, but you know, before we lose money again, let's jump over to San Fran.
Time's sticking.
Yo, money.
Man, listen.
San Fran. Talk to us about their draft, man. How you feel about these Niners draft? How you feel about their position going into next year?
Here's how I feel about my Niners draft. I love what we did in the 6th round more than anything. I'm serious.
Where the gems at?
Nah, I mean, look, shout out to your team, bro. Like, y'all took the linebacker I want, and why we take Drake Jackson over him, whatever. I know I get the benefit of the doubt for my squad. We took some plays before. I was like, who? And they ended up being straight stars on the field. But I did not get the TD pick out of LSU in the 3rd round there. Yep. You know, to me, I could see us. I knew we would get a running back, right? You know, it's what Shanahan does. He runs a multitude of backs every single year. It's a system that a lot of teams try to incorporate. Yeah,
high hand mentality.
You know what I'm saying? It's needed now. But I see it more like directly affecting Trey Sermon, Elijah starter. You know, that's our dog right there. We're gonna run with him. You know, last rookie running back to do what he did was Frank Gore. You know, so we're gonna keep running with him. But my 6th round picks, man, like Kalia Davis from
UCF, baby.
Yeah.
Charles
You know what I'm saying? Tyree Castro Fields, cornerback. You know, I like those picks more than we actually did in the whole actual draft.
Right.
But it is what it is. You know, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. We took Mr. Irrelevant, you know, and Brock Purdy. So, you know, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. We'll see how it shake out.
All right, well, let's address the elephant in the room.
Talk to me.
Debo Samuel. Is he in or is he out?
Man, he playing. I mean, well, here's the thing. I was okay with us trading him if we would have got some value in the 1st round. When I saw these wide receivers going crazy, man, we think about 8 wide receivers came to play in the 1st round, 6 drafted, 2 traded. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we would have got some real relevant stock for Debo, cool. You don't want to rock with us? Bounce. Right. You know what I mean? But he's still locked into this year contractually, but he can hold out.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. But, you know, now he refollow all the 49ers stuff on social media.
That's the new trend,
so,
you know, to be a 13-year-old girl and unfollow all your friends.
But Trey Lance tripped me out. He shot Debo a message. He's like, yo, whoever be monitoring our social media accounts, I need them to monitor my shorty's account because y'all be on it. How do y'all know this so quick? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, yo, I just think, you know, Debo, man, we can't, you know, I get where he's at, right? He doesn't want to, he wants to get away from, you know, playing that running back role. I mean, we know the shelf life when it comes to carrying that ball like that. Right. He's trying to extend his career. I understand that part. And he wants to get paid. I think, you know, starting with Christian Kirk and we saw these contracts, how do you not blame him for wanting to get paid? Like, yo, let me get the bag too.
Bro. It was an avalanche from there. So you know, every receiver wanted money after that, right?
Yeah.
End of the day, it's a business. You know what I'm saying? Love Debo, man. You can't question his talent on the field, but it's a business at the end of the day, so I don't knock him for it. But like I said, you don't want to rock with us, don't rock with us. But it's too late now to get the value we want, I feel. Now we got to hold on to him.
I think so.
So Debo is in a Niner uniform for this season.
Mm-hmm. Unless he holds out.
Unless he holds out.
He'd still be in the uniform, just won't be playing.
That's definitely an elephant in the room. The other elephant, maybe a little smaller elephant, I know you've been on it all last season, going into the offseason. Do you think the 49ers addressed the cornerback position to the level that you wanted them to?
I like the pickup we did from KC with Ward signing him. To me, that was big. Like I said, you know, we still bringing in like them players that, you know, we brought Jason Verrett back. I mean, come on, you know. Right. Young Jason Verrett before all the injuries, you know, we can't question, you know, we know the talent on the field, but it's that's the thing with San Fran to me. I don't think that we truly addressed it. We brought in a free agent, and one of my favorite picks was a cornerback, which was late in the 6th round. Yeah. So, but I think there's still a questionable position for us. And the 49ers, one thing about them, arguably probably one of the top front sevens in the league.
For sure.
And that can always mask the deficiencies of a secondary when you got a heavy front like that.
Very true.
But so I don't think it's fully answered, but we touched it a little.
Cool.
All right. Well, answer this question for me.
What's up?
Because, I mean, you guys still rocking 2 quarterbacks at this point in time.
It's Trey season,
right?
Bro.
Is it Trey's time?
It's Trey season.
Is it Trey season?
It's Trey season.
Game 1.
I think we got to start him. I mean, look, not that we want to get rid of Jimmy, but, you know, the small business move was to release him and bring $24 million back into our cap, right?
Right.
But he had that late surgery with his shoulder. A lot of teams would question that, him not even being with a bunch of younger cats and building up chemistry, not possibly coming into training camp late, not even having OTAs to rock with his new squad. That kind of held us away from the trader position. I think the quarterback market kind of threw us off too, man. A lot of quarterbacks moved that we didn't expect to move. You see Marcus Mariota getting a starting job and all these other pieces. And Watson finally getting traded and Wilson gets traded. And, you know, so it was just hard to really move a piece like Jimmy coming off of shoulder surgery. But I think it's time, man. I think Trey's going to get a lot of work in. Jimmy's not going to be ready for OTAs. I think you got to let Trey go out there with the first team offense in training camp. Let him get used to him. Let's see what we got in him. We sold up a lot of stock for him.
Gave it the capital.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. True indeed, man. Yep. Well, obviously, you sound like you still very confident in your Niners.
Yeah, let's go, man.
You know, came in second in Division 2. These LA Rams. Bro. All right. Should have been at the top of the conversation. So let's jump into these LA Rams, man. Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams.
Yes, sir.
Super Bowl champ Rams.
Where do these guys go from here? I mean, you win a Super Bowl. I mean, What do these Rams really have to shore up? What do they have to prove in this offseason?
Well, they started off pretty hot, probably getting the best wide receiver and available in free agency with Allen Robinson. That's a great start. You know, the potential Odell Beckham situation, and then you bring in Allen Robinson, who's a big body wide receiver. You pair him up with Cooper Kupp. You know, you extend Stafford. I mean, they're rolling. I don't know where they're getting this money from.
Rich get richer, man.
I'm saying. As far as the draft, though, you know, a draft that you expect when you trade first-round picks, second-round picks constantly every year, you're going to be left with, you know, some mid-round picks, third on.
They didn't have a first or a second this year, did they? Right.
So
third round, Los Angeles Rams go.
Logan Bruce, offensive lineman, which, you know, can't blame him for trying to do that.
At all.
Can't blame him for doing it.
I always say you cannot go wrong with an offensive lineman from the Midwest, North, Wisconsin, Nebraska, all these
Wisconsin,
guys.
Actually, he was from.
Yeah, he's from Wisconsin. That's what I'm saying. You can't go wrong. You know,
They just breed big boys, man.
Big boys, big body boys.
Big body boys.
Yeah, so you can't go wrong there. A player that I do find kind of interesting because the news came out that Sony Michel actually signed with the Miami Dolphins. So they lost Sony Michel. That leaves them with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson. But Kyron Williams, Notre Dame running back, was highly touted pre-draft. Combine comes. He doesn't look athletic, doesn't look fast.
Yeah.
But, you know, taking him in the fifth round, like I said, out of Notre Dame, could be you know, running back to watch out for in fantasy landscapes as a little handcuff.
I'm not mad at the pick.
I like it. I mean, he's still got good hands. You know what I'm saying? No matter what his times came in as, he's proven he's got great hands.
And I think the combine can be extremely overrated at times, man. Let's like, you know, all right, for example, if you think, I'll say one name. To this day, Jarvis Landry has the fourth slowest 40 in combine history.
Right.
He's had a good career.
Absolutely.
Jerry Rice, I think he ran like a 4.65 or something like that.
Yep.
Hash.
Pretty good career.
Yeah.
That's for you, Logan.
So, you know, I think, you know, he had a bad combine for whatever reason it could be. You know, a lot of stuff we may not know. But I like that pickup, man. I really do like that pickup.
All right. Well, obviously, you know, the Rams didn't have too much draft capital because, like you said, you know, they Super Bowl champions. But a team that did have, you know, some good draft capital and made some nice moves as well, these Arizona Cardinals. Kyler get some weapons.
They're doing their job. They're trying to make Kyler happy.
It's a college teammate.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you bring over Marquise Hollywood Brown from the Ravens. They do a trade in the first round and bring in Kyler's teammate from Oklahoma.
I think they got a third or a fourth back in that deal as well, too.
Right.
So
I mentioned during our draft breakdown that the run on wide receivers came pretty fast, and you know, it was pretty much gone by the time the Cardinals got on the clock. So they probably looked at the board and was like, "Man, we're not getting the guys that we thought were going to be here. So let's go ahead and trade our first round pick for a proven, some would say, proven veteran wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown, and pair him up with Kyler Murray."
Well, I think Money said it best. You know, that's an old college teammate of his. So, you know, they go far back. That chemistry is going to come into play, man.
I think it was also to appease Kyler, especially with all that offseason contract stuff that they've been going through. I think it kind of solidifies that in anybody that was questioning whether Kyler would be on the field in the beginning of the year, I think that kind of puts that noise to rest. You know, for them to go out there and get Hollywood like that, and, you know, Kyler's going to be there.
True indeed. And you know, they used that first round pick to go get Marquise Hollywood Brown. And then they used their second round pick on top tight end in this draft, Trey McBride.
Yes, sir.
How you guys like that pick?
I think this is Dallas Goedert 2.0. Trey McBride from Colorado State. Now he gets drafted behind Zach Ertz. You know, they signed Zach Ertz. They traded for him last season. They signed him to I think it was like a 3-year deal. And then they draft Trey McBride. This gives them the ability to run 12-man personnel. You know, 12 men, 2 tight ends on the field, which allows you to disguise your offense a little better. You know, you got 2 big tight ends blocking. You can run, play action. RPOs is the new hot thing in the NFL. So I like it a lot. I think we know the trajectory for tight ends takes a couple years for them to get involved in the offense. So this is great to learn from Zach. And then going into next season, he can take off and be the tight end one.
I think with the Hopkins news now of him being suspended, that we might even see Trey early in the season. You know, he'll get some snap counts.
Just like he said, they'll probably be running a lot of 2 tight end sets early with Hopkins out. Obviously, Marquise is takes on a number 1 role to start the season. How do you feel about these Cardinals going into this coming season?
I think what they did good in the draft that kind of helped them. They focused real heavy on defensive line, so they try to bolster that up a little bit, which they need.
They need it because they lost Chandler Jones to Vegas. So yeah, you mentioned they go back-to-back edge rushers in the 3rd round. Definitely fulfills the need.
I think the slickest pick they did though was Keontae Ingram.
Yeah,
because I mean, let's face it, man. James Conner doesn't have the cleanest bill of slate when it comes to his health.
Right.
This is true. And obviously they lost Chase Edmonds in free agency. He's over in Miami with all 72 other running backs. They just got Sony Michel and they got Raheem Mostert. Jesus Christ.
I heard to bring his uncle back.
They're bringing the Wildcat back. I think they're doing. Keontae Ingram, running back out of USC, big running back, built not as similar to Derrick Henry, but as far as the height and athleticism. They drafted him in the 6th round. Like you said, James Conner, I know they signed him this offseason, but we'll see where his health looks like. And Eno Benjamin really hasn't stepped up to take claim of that RB2 position.
Absolutely.
Maybe Keontae Ingram can slide into that RB2 role. Yeah,
and it's tripping me out too, because I'm seeing like a lot of the Dynasty community, they like really high on Eno right now. So
yeah,
Keontae is like one of them.
Yeah. It's one of them gem picks that money's known for, right? But yeah, man. But so Arizona, they did their job on defense in the late rounds, and they got Kyler a couple pieces early in the draft. How you guys feel about the other team in this division? The last team, Seattle, probably the last place team in this division this year. They obviously move on from Russell Wilson, and then they don't draft a single other quarterback in this draft. So going into next season, at this point in time, it looks like they're locked in on lock.
Drew Lock or Geno Smith?
Man.
I like it, what they did. I said it many months ago after the Russell Wilson trade, their best move is to not even worry about getting a quarterback in this class because they're still going to be a bottom tier team.
For sure.
So I think now they still put themselves in position to get some, a Bryce Young or something next year, in terms of that range. But
very true.
But that's why I'm not mad at it. I like it. I don't blame them. They focused on a lot of other needs that will be more effective in long term than what a quarterback in this class can do for them.
As a matter of fact, man, that actually I wanted to make mention. I got a buddy, my man Ben. Shout out to you. He thinks exactly the same, man. Yeah, big time Seattle Seahawks fan.
No here, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my unbiased decision. Even though I can't stand y'all Hawks.
Big time Seattle Seahawks fan. He wanted to definitely make mention. He wasn't able to make it on the show, but he didn't mind their draft at all. As a matter of fact, he feels like they addressed a ton of their needs. They didn't feel that the quarterback class was strong, so we didn't reach for anyone.
Yep.
And we got 2 first-round picks next year, and with the stronger quarterback class, they'll definitely get one next year.
For sure.
Boom, he hit it right on the nose.
And they got
and so did Seattle, right? They went offensive line, and they went defense early in this draft.
Seattle Seahawks is one of my low-key, under-the-radar top drafts. I absolutely love what they did. They get the offensive tackle of the future and Charles Cross in the first round. And then, like you said, Boy Mafa, defensive edge rusher. And they take Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker in the second round was in the conversation of the number 1 RB in this class.
Right.
You line them up now with Rashad Penny, and they're off to the races next year once they get their quarterback. But I do like their middle rounds, man. Getting Kobe Bryant out of Cincinnati. He was the number 2 cornerback on the depth chart behind Sauce Gardner, but he actually outproduced Sauce Gardner on the field. Believe it or not.
Great point. So
Kobe Bryant, and then going back, and I was watching the draft as an Eagles fan, and I wanted this cat, man, out of Texas San Antonio, Tyreek Woolen. Big, long, a typical Seahawks corner.
6'4".
Yeah, right. 6'4" corner. Tyreek Woolen out of Texas San Antonio. They take him in round 5. I love what they did. Like Money said, you hold off on the quarterback, you address all the other needs, And so when you draft your quarterback next year, he walks into a situation where everything's in place. You got the running back. We mentioned, years back, DK Metcalf's still there. Tyler Lockett's still there. You bring in Noah Fant from the Russell Wilson trade. Whoever they do draft next year is walking into a really good situation.
I agree 100%. And, as far as the Kenneth Walker pickup, I love that for him. It's a great landing spot. I'm just not sold on Penny. If he hasn't done it as a first-round running back,
right?
Again, going back to what you stressed over the offseason a lot, you don't draft a running back in the first round.
Right.
But if he hasn't done it now, come on, when's he going to do it?
Yeah.
So I think Kenneth Walker immediately comes in there as the RB1 for the team.
Sure.
And with Carson, dealing with the with his neck injury, it's likely they're saying that he might not even be able to see the field again. So, he walks into a very great situation from a football perspective.
For sure.
Agreed. Obviously, Big J mentioned it. Seattle, they did their thing in this draft. Ben, you should be happy. It's going to be a tough year for you this year, but hold off, and I think you guys will be happy in the future, man. Overall, NFC West.
It's a tough division.
Yeah. How's it looking next year? These Niners, they gonna pull off this division?
Man,
or?
Bang Bang Niner gang all day, man. All day. Nah, let me not be biased, man. The Rams, they're, Super Bowl champions, so they're the defending champs.
Right.
We gotta unseat them to really, claim the throne of that division. But I see it between us and the Rams, to be honest. I don't see it any other way. Arizona can make a little noise, but
Arizona could definitely make some noise. It's going to be interesting. The West is tough. It's a very tight division.
All I know is you definitely don't got to worry about Seattle, right? But the other three should definitely be in contention. Should be an interesting year for them.
Yeah.
All right, so last week we recapped the NFL draft, right? Mm-hmm. A nice blanket of, some of the big moves, big names, stuff like that. But what we want to do this week is we're going to jump into, top 10 maybe, some players that you guys are going to be looking at on your Dynasty fantasy football draft boards. Mm-hmm. So, we'll run over probably the top 10, top 12 most impactful players in their, first couple seasons. Who you guys got, man? Obviously, Breece Hall has to be number 101, right?
Yeah, no question.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's easy.
Breece Hall going to the Jets, that's an automatic great situation, right?
Yep, got to, man. Great offensive line. I love that backfield. Carter's just not going to get completely erased out the picture, but that duo right there is going to be fun to watch.
Agreed. All right, well, if you had picked number 102, are you staying on the running back tip, maybe looking at Kenneth Walker, or are you going to start looking into some of these wide receivers on the board?
I think as we get closer, it could change, but as of right now, I think it's got to be Kenneth Walker. In fantasy football, running backs are so valuable to have, especially a stud young running back. That's going to give you 5 to 7 years of great production. I think you got to get him when you can. It's got to be Kenneth Walker, running back out of Seattle Seahawks, man.
No, I agree 100%, man. We mentioned it, just a few minutes ago when we talked about the Seahawks. He walks into a rebuilding situation. He's one of the biggest first pieces in that rebuilding situation. Right. Yeah, I love this guy going forward for sure.
My only question mark is the catching ability. Is he going to be more of a Nick Chubb type running back where you're not really catching the ball a lot? Or is he going to develop like similar to Melvin Gordon? Melvin Gordon wasn't a pass catcher coming out of college, but when he got into the NFL, he showed the ability to catch the ball. So that'll be the only thing his knock for his career is his pass catching ability. He didn't do it in college.
I think that's where the work comes in because I think he'll be all right. I think, that's the one thing that he has to develop, and he knows that's the question mark about him. Saw a little clip on Twitter the other day. He was running a little route in voluntary practices and messed around, like spun around in his route, caught the ball with one hand. And everybody's going crazy about that. Like, what'd you say about my hands? But so it's something he's going to work on, continue to work on. The rest of the talent, within his running game is there. We know about it. So I think he's got a little chip on his shoulder, so he can do it all.
Right. True indeed. And so he's probably going to be the number 2 pick in a lot of these dynasty drafts, fantasy football drafts in general, when you're talking about rookies. But you mentioned hands. So let's talk about some of these wide receivers that are going to start coming off the board right after those 2 running backs.
So Drake or Burks?
This is where it gets tricky, man.
I mean, is that the only two?
I think
next
3,
two
4.
options?
If you're talking about wide receiver here, I think those are the 2 names that are being brought up, that I'm seeing go in some dynasty mock drafts and some live dynasty drafts within this past week.
Right.
Those are the 2 names.
Yeah, and the reason why you say that, because these 2 names are walking into situations that are very wide open.
Yep.
Drake London is walking into an Atlanta situation where there's no wide receiver 2 of consequence. He's walking to maybe 90 over 100 targets easily, but they are Marcus Mariota targets, so we don't know the quality of those targets. And similar with Treylon Burks, he's walking into a situation, we touched it last week, where A.J. Brown is out of there. He's in Philly. So he's walking into a situation where he's the the wide receiver 1. This is pick your poison. It really comes down to who do you like. Put your flag down and take them. I think 103. Drake London is easy call. 6'4", wide receiver out of USC. Wide receivers out of USC don't miss. They're either really good or they're just superstars. So. He's early breakout in college, played alongside Michael Pittman and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who we both seen have very productive years and a year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, his rookie year, this year. So to be able to break out in college playing alongside those guys, I like Drake London.
To go to breakout, 18.1 is the breakout age they have him in on a player profile.
Right.
And that's great, man. You're not gonna find that.
Get better than that.
Barely just turned 18, balling on these cats. 35% dominator rating throughout college. I think you gotta go Drake. I mean, Trey, easily, like you said, he's the wide receiver 1 there. Probably end up being the RB2 there.
The only question marks with these guys, man, for me is the athleticism. More so with Drake London, we didn't see him test. He's a black box prospect, which means we don't know his running numbers, his forward, his agility. We know he's 6'4". We know he's 220. He'll probably end up being 220. Same with Treylon Burks. He came in at like a 4.45. I do like to call Drake Burks within that 3-4 range.
Yeah.
Because of the targets.
Right. So obviously after, the first 2 running backs, those are probably the first 2 receivers off the board.
Yeah.
You got the number 5 pick and a fantasy football dynasty draft. Where you going, guys?
This is where it gets funny. I mean, this is where I guess you start getting into the tier of the draft where you really just, to me personally, I'd say you go get your guy.
Yeah.
You go get your guy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my opinion. I mean, all right. So if y'all in the comment sections, you see what I said last week. I'm seeing this name get popped up in this phase right here of the draft, Sky Moore. I can't buy it. But that's your guy. Right. Personally, myself, I think the move, if I had to go get my guy at this point, I think I'm probably taking Olave.
Chris Olave, wide receiver out of New Orleans Saints. Like we said, got to go get your guy. Who is your guy?
Yeah.
It's really pick your poison. You pick your guy and put a stamp on it. Me personally, I wouldn't be mad if somebody were to take Jameson Williams because of the firecracker he is. Game-breaking speed. May miss the first couple weeks of the season, but we're talking dynasty. We're talking long-term. Wide receiver 1 in Detroit. That quarterback situation should get better. But going back to Olave, he walks into a situation where he's behind Michael Thomas. So,
I mean, but is he really behind Michael Thomas? We haven't even seen Michael Thomas on the field in a couple of years.
Right.
I like the Olave pick. But I also like Garrett Wilson here as well, guys. I mean, he you got a Wilson to Wilson connection over there in New York. They picked him with the number 10 pick. They obviously had confidence in him. Number 2 wide receiver off the board. Mm-hmm. I like Garrett Wilson in this position, guys, personally. But like you said, it could go Jameson Williams. It could definitely go Olave. It could go Garrett Wilson. But I think right around here is where you take these 3 receivers. Probably, the next 3 picks, 5 through 7, right? But if you got the 8 pick, what you guys looking at now?
It's where the draft starts. For me, the first 7, pretty easy. You can flip the order how you will. But pick 8 is tough.
Is this where you start looking into some of those second tier running backs?
Could be.
Is this where maybe you look at a prospect like maybe a Trey McBride at tight end, if you want to throw tight ends in there? Or is this where you start looking at those Sky Moores or some of these other wide receivers like a George Pickens or wide receivers that went a little later in the draft?
I wouldn't be mad. Money he will disagree, but Sky Moore. Sky Moore, I mean, you're talking about a wide receiver who was productive in college. Yes, Western Michigan, smaller school, but he was productive at college. He was an early declare. Normally when you have guys that are at smaller schools, they wait till the senior year to get more tape out there. He's a small school guy. He declared early as a junior. He gets tied to Patrick Mahomes, who we all call the young GOAT, one of the best quarterbacks to do it. He's tied with him for his future. So why not Sky Moore?
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
Me personally on him, look, is he better than Miko? Yes. But I just think every time the Chiefs take a wide receiver, like the Dynasty community and just football community in general go crazy just on the strength of Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
I won't be surprised at all if Juju has a better year this year than Sky Moore. I won't be surprised at all in 2 years we see a wide receiver come into Kansas City and becomes the alpha over Sky Moore. But is he nice enough? Is he talented?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, 20-year breakout age, middle of the field.
Right.
I'm seeing a lot of Golden Tate comps where, hey, if that's the value you're getting at that point in the draft, I'm not mad at it. But I just can't buy into the hype and just the way it's going crazy on him right now, where you're putting him over a George Pickens, who I think throughout the career of both players, he has the better career. Or you put him over a player with a younger breakout age, and like David Bell, who now has Deshaun Watson.
Right.
I mean, I can't put him over those two names. I mean, personally, you ask me at this point in time, you've got to look, into next season and look at Sky Moore. He's not the number one on that team because Travis Kelce is their number one, right? So really, coming into this year, he's fighting for that number 2 spot. I like George Pickens over there as well. And I also like David Bell getting the call from Cleveland, man. He's going to walk into a great situation as well. So me personally, if we're talking about, that 8 pick, I'm looking more at David Bell around this time, man.
I like the David Bell call. I love the David Bell call. We're talking about a player who Cleveland took in the 3rd round, picked 99 overall, very productive in college. Played at Purdue, played behind Rondell Moore, who was a 2nd round pick himself. I mean, 2 years of 1,000 yards. Year 2 was 625 yards, but that was only in 6 games, man. Talking about a super productive wide receiver, 21 total touchdowns in college. His only knock was, again, it's the athleticism. He came into the combine and just didn't run the way you would like to see your wide receivers run. But similar to what Money said early in the show, is it's not always about the combine. It's a little bit overrated. We've seen guys like Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, DeAndre Hopkins come into the league, and Antonio Brown didn't run great and are very productive.
And to add what you say to what you're saying, one thing I always say is football speed is a lot different than combine speed.
Facts.
So,
facts. Also around this time, 8, 9, 10 range. I mean, where's the second wave of running backs? James Cook, a guy that I'm very high on this year, gets tied to Buffalo behind Josh Allen in that offense. I like it, James Cook in that 8, 9 range as well.
True indeed. I think it's safe to say, we've rounded out the top 7. And then once you add in David Bell, George Pickens, Sky Moore, and James Cook, that's probably the top 11 at this point in time. So if we were looking for a 1st round dynasty draft, who is that 12th pick you guys are picking?
I think, see, there's a player that I liked a lot coming into this draft that I just can't stand where he landed, man. But I'm a huge Jahan Dotson fan.
Yeah.
I love the talent, love the explosiveness, love the grittiness about this kid, man. Boy got heart.
Just hate the fact that he ended with the Commanders, huh?
Yeah, but I think it's an argument between him and, Rachaad White is in a great situation.
There you go.
At least
for a year. He's in a great situation with Tampa, Rachaad White. But no, I like the Jahan Dotson call. Similar to the USC wide receivers. Penn State has been pumping out some really good talent, at least some athletic talent. Guys like Mike Gesicki, Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders. but notably Chris Godwin, another Penn State wide receiver, Allen Robinson.
Yep.
So Jahan Dotson has very good, there's a lineage there of Penn State wide receivers. So, you know, the Commanders with the Carson Wentz situation, we'll see. They do have another guy that they drafted this year in the 5th round, Sam Howell, who I'm really high on as potentially being the sneaky Dak Prescott of this draft class.
True indeed.
Interesting.
True indeed. But obviously, Sam Howell is not anybody you're taking in your top 12.
No,
He's probably in this next segment that we want to talk about. It's called Where the Gems At. All right?
Gems at.
This is what we bring J Money on the show for. This his segment of the show.
Hey, Money.
What up? Hold on, man. It's gonna cost you now.
Where the gems at? Y'all know the guy on the beach with the metal detector. Look, that's J Money right now. J Money, my man. Third round and down.
Third round and down.
This is where you make your money, right?
That's where I make my money, man. I eat all day.
Talk to me, bro. J Money, where the gems at?
Third round and down. That's where we going with this?
Third and down.
Okay. All right. You know what I like? If you need a tight end, we talked about Trey McBride.
Yep.
Get at Jelani Woods, bro.
Yes, sir.
10.0 RSA score. That's the highest you get. Puts his athleticism into the elite category.
Yep.
6'7", 252, 93rd
Big boy.
percentile in terms of his spark score.
Big body boy.
That boy, I think, is a nice little tight end piece. If you're looking for a tight end piece, Jelani Woods.
Nice landing spot too,
Colts.
and with the Colts as well, right? Nobody over there that's really dominating that position. Mo Cox over there,
He's
right?
got Mo Cox he can learn from, who's also a big boy himself. But going into Matt Ryan's situation, Matt Ryan's a check it down quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he can walk into a very fun situation.
But, I mean, the Colts, to be honest, bro, like, when it comes to the tight end position, they actually got another gem on that team. Wide receiver. Alex Pierce. Desmond Ritter's boy.
That's a late one.
Let me tell you something about this 6'3", 210-pound kid.
Yeah.
If you ask me where I see his upside,
Okay.
in terms of the type of comp player, when I look at his film and I watch him,
Talk to him, Money.
I'm like, yo, if he reaches his peak to me, his ceiling to me, is a Jordy Nelson type player. I can see that. I can see that, bro.
Ooh.
That's a nice comparison.
Hey, y'all
too.
listening?
I can see that, bro.
Alex Pierce, yeah. Cincinnati, wide receiver. That's a good look. A player I like, a little gem I like. Sorry, Money, I got to jump in.
Drop that one in, drop
Let
one
me,
in, bro.
let me jump in, man.
You know
Let
what
me
I'm
jump in with the
saying?
gem.
Tell me, what the gem, man? What the gem?
I like a guy, man. I liked him early in the draft. I like him early in the process, right?
Talk to him.
I like the little Isaiah Spiller, right? But he falls. He falls in the draft. He falls in the draft to round 4. People didn't like him because he didn't run fast. But we're talking about a guy that was very productive in the SEC. Okay, we're talking about a young running back at this point. And he falls behind a running back who's very fragile, and Austin Eckler. He has a very long history of injuries. I like Isaiah Spiller as a gem. He's kind of like a very shiny gem because he was very prominent early in this process, but now he's kind of fell off. He got a little dirt on him, and dust him off. Isaiah Spiller, that's my gem.
Still a gem, man.
And see, I said this before the season started last year, right? To add on to Isaiah Spiller, I knew Eckler was going to pop off last year.
Right.
They brought in the running backs coach from New Orleans, which we saw what AK's done his career. And last year, AK was you know what I'm saying? So now he goes into a great coaching staff behind him too. I think he really goes in as the number 2. I love that call.
Right.
I love that call because, I mean, come on. Roundtree,
Joshua Kelly,
Yeah.
nobody's really popped off as an RB2.
I mean,
So
Justin Jackson's put in work, but he's not an RB1.
right.
And, I think Spiller has it. Going back to what I said earlier, football speed is a lot different than combine speed. When I say that, to what you're saying about Isaiah Spiller, he's a perfect player that I put into that category.
Facts. Sure.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Another one that fell into a very nice situation. That's the thing about these gems, these late picks. The early running backs, they don't always fall into the best situations, but a lot of these running backs, they fall into nice situations. Kind of like my gem, guys. I talked about him a little last week, man. I like Tyler Algier over there in Atlanta.
Don't put him on. Don't put him on that one.
Don't give him that one.
Don't give him that one.
Got you guys. I mentioned him last week, man.
Love it.
5th round pick by Atlanta, BYU running back, man, big back.
Love it.
I love it, man. Then the very next day, they go and cut Mike Davis. So all that told me was they found themselves their RB2 as right now. So love Tyler Algier over there in Atlanta, man.
Nah, that's a great pick, man. All right, so I got another name here, man. I mean, we mentioned it, so I won't talk on it so much. But going back to the NFC West, we talked about it. We talked about Connor's health. He's out there in the third. You could probably get him in the early fourth in some drafts. Yeah. Keontae Ingram. I don't think you can ignore 6 feet, 222 pounds. At all. Benjamin's not the guy to me. I don't know. Keep him on special teams. But I think, he has all the opportunity in the world to really pop off. Something would have happened to Connor, who doesn't have a clean bill of slate when it comes to his health.
Right. Love the Ingram. We touched it earlier. All right, guys. Get your hard hats on. All right, get your flashlight on. We going deep. We going deep into the mine, okay? We diving deep into the mine. I got this gem. It's very dusty. It's hard. We got to get our pickaxes going.
All right.
Hear me out, though.
Talk to me.
Justin Ross, wide receiver from Clemson, lands in Kansas City. Now, we touched on the Sky Moore situation, right? Now, I had to throw it out. Got to give the people, got to give the people some stuff.
He took my pick, man.
Justin Ross.
That's a good one.
Is the Jimmy of all gems.
Especially when you go undrafted.
Undrafted.
That is the Jimmy of all gems that you had to call, man.
The blood diamond himself, Justin Ross. He's got the pedigree coming from Clemson. Injuries, undrafted, athleticism, question marks all across the board. But if there's going to be a wide receiver that pops in this offense under the radar, why not Justin Ross?
Yo, so I'm not going to lie, man. I know Sky Moore's your guy, man, but I personally like him in the later rounds even more than Sky Moore in the early ones.
Agree. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if his health, because it sucks what's going on with Justin and his health. Mm-hmm. But that plays itself out where he can just be on that field and stay healthy. Yo, that's a steal of steals, man.
Jam, baby.
That's the heist.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't be mad at that. Great call. If I had to go with an undrafted player, man, I know you spoke about him. Mm-hmm. I know you like Zamir White a little bit. Yeah. I think, you know what? I can't even take full credit of this, man. Shout out to my boy Derek, man. Put me on to this one player. UTSA running back, Sincere McCormick.
Sincere, baby. I'm
telling you, Vegas took him as an undrafted free agent. Mm-hmm. I think he makes the cut. As long as he's on that 53-man roster by the start of the season, by next year, he's the type of player I feel could probably even play over Zamir White, because we know Jacobs is not going to be there since they didn't pick up the fifth-year option. So
great bringing that up.
Indeed. Somebody else that I like, man, I think we mentioned him earlier, but we didn't really give him his praise. I love the Florida Gator, Dameon Pierce, going straight to a great situation with those Texans, man. I know you guys were high on him.
Yeah. He's a big boy, big running back, not super athletic, not super productive at Florida, but walks into a great situation. All he has is Marlon Mack and the corpse of Rex Burkhead in front of him. So it could be a sneaky spot. Davis Mills has shown that he can sustain an offense. I like that call. I like that call a lot.
Nah, I'm mad. And give me Romeo Dubs over Christian Watson any day.
There you go. And that's too many. Hey, that's too many gems. That's enough. Too many gems.
Yo! If I start charging y'all, man, bless the JVSPORTSROOM CASHAPP with this, man.
Yes.
About to make you some money this year.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Show some love back to the house. What's up?
Cut them off.
For real. Remember, if you want to support the show, $ JVSPORTSROOM. When you win your championships, don't forget about us.
Really, man, take care of your peoples, dog.
Cut them off, man. Give them too much.
Yeah, gentlemen, let's definitely cut them off. Let's cut them off. We can't give them everything. All right, gentlemen. Well, that's all the time we got for today, man.
Yeah.
As usual, my man Jay Money holding down that Kobe corner.
Yeah.
Big J in the starting center spot. Big body boy. Hard work hat on.
Support the merch, baby.
Mm-hmm. And as usual, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check us out at sportjv.com. Support the merch. Got all types of new show gear on. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, of course, like and subscribe on YouTube. And as usual, I got a quote for you guys. This time from legendary Mike Tyson. Speaking of hard work and discipline. Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. Thank you guys for watching.